We've now covered 17 modules of cybersecurity knowledge. And here's the honest truth about all of it. None of it matters if you don't act on it. Part 5 is about transitioning from knowing to doing, from understanding threats and defenses to building the habits that make security automatic. This module focuses on the 6 daily habits that have the highest return for the least effort, and on how to make those habits stick, not through willpower, but through design. 40 years ago, wearing a seatbelt was optional, unusual, and seen by many as inconvenient or unnecessary. Today, it is automatic for most people. You get in the car, you put on the seatbelt, you do not think about it. The absence of it, getting in a car without buckling up, now feels wrong. Security habits follow the same arc. The first few weeks of locking your screen every time you step away feels deliberate and slightly effortful. After 2 months, not doing it starts to feel odd. The habit has been installed. You have now covered 17 modules of cybersecurity knowledge. None of it matters if you do not act on it. A person who pauses before clicking every link, uses a password manager, locks their screen when they step away, and reports suspicious activity promptly is dramatically more secure than a person with extensive theoretical knowledge who does none of those things. Habits are the difference between knowing and being. 6 habits. Applied consistently, they address the most common attack vectors for the least effort. 1. The 1-second pause before clicking. Before clicking any link or opening any attachment in email, messaging apps, or social media, pause 1 second. Was I expecting this? Does the sender look right? Does the URL match where I expect to go? Protects against phishing, malware delivery, credential theft. 2. Lock your screen when you step away. Every time you leave your desk, workstation, or put down your phone in a public place. On Windows, Win+L. On macOS, Control, Command, Q. On phone, press the power button. Protects against physical access to your accounts, data, and systems. 3. Use unique passwords via a password manager. If you are not already using one, set one up this week. Let it generate a new strong password for each account. You should never know what most of your passwords actually are. Protects against credential stuffing. A breach at one service cannot cascade to others. 4. Keep software updated. Enable automatic updates on your operating system, browser, and key applications. Stop dismissing update prompts. When one appears, treat it as a security action, not a nuisance. Protects against exploitation of known vulnerabilities. 5. Think before you share. Before posting on social media, consider who can see it and whether it reveals something that could be used against you. Your location, your routine, your relationships, your employer, your home. Protects against social engineering, targeted phishing, physical security risks. 6. Report anything suspicious. If something seems odd, an unusual email, an unexpected login alert, a colleague behaving strangely around systems, a suspicious caller, report it. You do not need to be certain, you need to flag it. Protects against delayed detection. Early reporting consistently leads to better outcomes. The aspect of digital security most people overlook entirely is the physical dimension. The focus on network threats and malware can create a blind spot for the simplest risks. Information visible to the wrong person because it was left in view. The clean desk principle: do not leave sensitive information physically visible when you are not at your desk. Printed documents, notebooks with passwords, post-it notes with login details. The risk is not primarily theft, it is observation. Someone passing your desk, sitting nearby in a cafe, or visiting the office can read or photograph information in seconds without anyone noticing. In practice, lock sensitive documents away when you step away. Take printouts from the printer promptly. Shared office printers are one of the most common sources of accidental information disclosure. Shred rather than bin documents containing personal data. The clear screen principle, an unattended, unlocked screen, is a physical access vulnerability. 3 habits close this gap completely. Lock your screen every time you step away. Set your screen to auto-lock after 5 minutes of inactivity. Position your screen so it is not directly visible to anyone passing behind you in public places. Now shadow IT, and this deserves some empathy before it deserves criticism. Shadow IT is the use of technology, software, or services outside the knowledge or approval of IT. It is almost always driven by good intentions. Someone finds a tool that makes their job easier and uses it without going through what feels like a slow approval process. The security problem is not that the tools are necessarily bad. It is that data processed outside approved systems is outside the organization's security controls, backup processes, data retention policies, and legal compliance frameworks. Saving work files to a personal cloud drive. Work data sits outside organizational controls. When the employee leaves, data stays in their personal account. Better alternative. Use organization-provided cloud storage. If the official option is genuinely worse for your workflow, tell IT why. That is useful feedback. Installing unapproved software on a work device. Software outside the approval process may be unvetted, contain vulnerabilities, or conflict with security tools. Better alternative. Request the software through IT, sending work documents to a personal email for remote access. Work data passes through and is stored in a personal account outside organizational control, potentially indefinitely. Better alternative. Use the organization's remote access tools, VPN, remote desktop, cloud collaboration platforms. Using a consumer messaging app for sensitive work discussions. Conversations in personal WhatsApp or similar apps are stored on personal devices and outside the organization's data retention policies. For urgent coordination, a personal message saying, "Call me," is fine. Sensitive content stays in approved channels. Shadow IT is often a symptom as much as a problem. When people use unapproved tools, it usually means the approved tools are not meeting their needs. The security-conscious response is not just to prohibit it, it is to understand why it is happening and fix the underlying problem. Working outside the office brings specific risks that a few simple habits address. In public spaces, position your screen so it is not easily visible to people behind or beside you. Use a VPN when connecting to public Wi-Fi for work tasks. Do not hold sensitive calls where others can hear. Be aware of who is near you when typing passwords or PINs. On shared or borrowed computers, never save passwords in a browser. Always log out of all accounts before leaving. Do not assume incognito mode makes a shared computer safe. It prevents browser history, but not keyloggers. If you have accidentally saved credentials on a shared computer, change the affected passwords immediately from a different device. Social media profiles are simultaneously one of the richest sources of personal information available to attackers and one of the most neglected areas of personal security practice. An annual audit takes under an hour. Who can see your posts and profile? Set posts to friends or equivalent. Set profile fields like employer, location, and phone number to private. Review each platform's privacy settings individually. What your profile reveals when public. Google your own name. Check what is visible when logged out. Remove anything that provides more detail than necessary. Old accounts you no longer use. Search for accounts associated with your email addresses. Delete what you no longer use. Whether MFA is enabled on active social media accounts. Your contacts trust messages from you. Enable an authenticator app on all platforms you actively use. Connected apps with account access. Review and remove any you no longer use or do not recognize. 3 principles from behavior change research applied to security habits. First, attach habits to existing routines. Lock your screen when you stand up to get coffee. Review your password manager when you pay a bill online. Check your email security settings when you clear your inbox on a Friday. Pairing a new behavior with an established trigger removes the need to remember to do it. The trigger does the remembering for you. Second, make the secure option the default. Enable automatic updates so you do not have to choose to update. Use a password manager, so generating a unique password requires less effort than reusing one. Set your screen to auto-lock so security happens without action. When security is the path of least resistance, it becomes the automatic choice. Third, one habit at a time. The temptation after completing a security course is to try to change everything at once. This almost always fails. Choose the habit that addresses your biggest current gap. Focus on it for 2 weeks before adding another. In 2 months, you will have installed 3 or 4 habits that now feel natural. The goal of this entire course has never been for you to become a security professional. It has been for security to become a natural part of how you work and live, something you do instinctively, not something imposed from outside. The seatbelt was once an inconvenience, then it became a law, then it became a habit, then it became automatic, then it became unthinkable not to do it. That is the trajectory of every security habit in this module, given enough time and the right conditions to form. Alright, before we move on, here are the 3 things from this module I want you to hold on to. Number 1, knowledge without habits is just trivia. A person who consistently applies the 6 habits is more secure than someone with extensive theoretical knowledge who does not know them. Number 2, the 1-second pause before clicking prevents more incidents than any other single action. The attacker's greatest weapon is your automatic, unconsidered response. Number 3, habits built on understanding are much more durable than habits built on rules. You now understand the why. Before you move on, there is one question. A staff member is about to click a link in an email from their bank asking to verify account details urgently. They pause and notice the sender domain is one they don't recognize. They don't click and report to IT. Which habit made a critical difference? The correct answer is C. The pause is the critical intervention here. All the other answers describe defenses that would have limited the damage after clicking, but the pause prevented the click entirely. This is the sequence. Urgency triggers impulse. The habit interrupts the impulse. The check reveals the red flag. The threat is neutralized. A password manager would have refused to autofill. MFA would have limited account takeover, but neither of those required the person to do anything. The pause required active judgment, and it worked. Next up, Module 19. Security is everyone's job. See you there.